Hello, this video will cover researching social issues at the EPCC Valle Verde campus library. My name is Adrian Morales. I'm a librarian at the Valle Verde campus library. Here's my contact info. You can email me at amoral85@epcc.edu. I get back to you really quickly. You can call me or leave a phone message. Here's my phone number, or you can drop by. Here's my office number. You can also just ask for me at the front desk. I'm usually here from Tuesdays to Fridays from 8 to 5. You can make an appointment or just stop by. There's lots of ways to contact me, and I'll try my very best to help you. Here are the objectives for this video. So I'm going to show you how to find reference information at the library in person, in case you want to drop by. If you're at home or you can't stop by for some reason, I'm going to show you how to find reference information through the online catalog. I'm going to show you some of the databases, specifically on how to find information on social problem issues. And I'm going to recommend some open web resources as well. So these are photos of the library. If you don't know where the library is, it's Building C. It's where the cafeteria is. Also, the bookstore is right next to the cafeteria. Please don't confuse the bookstore with the library. All you have to do is go 2 floors up in Building C, and you can't miss us. We're right there. So the library is 2 floors. The first floor, you'll find the reference collection. Unfortunately, you cannot check out anything in the reference collection. However, I want to direct your attention to bookshelf number 12. At the very end of this bookshelf, you'll find Opposing Viewpoints, which is a book series that publishes information on social issues. They are articles that take a viewpoint, pro and con type viewpoint. They give you a topic overview and very useful statistics for some very juicy quotes for your research paper. And here we see some photos, and you have some of the book titles here, including stem cell use, online pornography, bioterrorism, cloning, advertising, and more. Also, we have a reference desk area also downstairs. You would go here when you need research help. You would get to talk to an actual librarian, and they'll help you. We're there pretty much all day. When you're ready to check out a book, you would go to the circulation desk. All you need is your library card with that validated sticker that says Spring 2022. If you don't know where to get that, you would go down 1 floor and to the left to Campus Life, and they'll help you there. Also, whenever your teachers say, I have reserve materials at the library, you would go to the circulation desk. So this would be any book that we borrow from your professor, including articles. Anything that we borrow from your professor, we will have it here at the circulation desk. Additionally, we have 2 computer areas. We have one downstairs and one upstairs. We have photocopiers. You can print here. We do ask you to buy a copy card for $1 bill. It gives you 50 cents and you can print with that. I wouldn't throw it away, you can reload it. Keep in mind also that you can print up to 15 black and white pages for free a day at the computer labs. So how do you get to the actual EPCC library online catalog? There's a couple of ways. If you're starting out at epcc.edu, you would go to the top right hamburger menu, click on it, click on resources and services. It'll give you a drop-down list, and then go to libraries. If you're starting at myepcc.edu, you would sign in, and then you would go to services on the top left, scroll down under instructional services. It's listed right there towards the bottom, libraries. You can also Google it as long as you get here. So there's two catalogs. This is a newer catalog. It's all been condensed into one search box pretty much. There's also a classic catalog under resources. And let me open that up so you can see. I like to have both because sometimes the newer one is kind of slow. The nice thing about the old catalog or the classic catalog is that you can look up your patron record. And it'll tell you how many items you have checked out, when they're due. It's a nice little reminder there. Also, if your professor has books on reserve, you can look up your professor and see if they have anything on reserve. Or you can look it up by course as well and campus. So your professor doesn't have anything, but there's a bunch of professors who do. And you would get those at the circulation desk. Going back to the newer catalog, if you need online assistance, you want to talk to a librarian, click on this green button here that says Get Connected, and it'll take you into a Blackboard page. And as we see here, here are the hours of availability, and we're here pretty much all day from 9 to 8 p.m. some days, Sunday through Saturday. All you have to do is click on Connect Now, and it'll take you into that Blackboard page that I mentioned. And you just join session. It'll give you instructions on how to speak to and how to type to librarians. All you have to do is click on the Hi Manny, can you hear me? I'm just I'm just doing a video for a class, so thank you so much. And I'm going to mute myself. Yeah. So as I was mentioning, would come here to speak to librarians. There's one of my colleagues, Manny, and he's really nice and helpful. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to mute myself and describe some of the features here, and then I'm just going to pop out. Thank you so much. So you click on this purple tab on the lower right, pops out that chat function. Click on everyone, and then you can type in your question. And they'll help you. They can share their screen and show you how to run a search, and they'll help you with your research. So now I'm going to leave this behind. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to run a search in the actual catalog. And like I said, I like to have the classic catalog open in two tabs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in opposing viewpoints, which is the encyclopedic book series that I showed you in the earlier slides. And like I said, the books that I showed you on the lower floor, that you cannot check them out. They're reference books. However, we have copies of the reference books upstairs. Everything upstairs you can check out because it's circulation. So as you can see right here, it's kind of taking a long time to give me the call numbers. What I like to do is, so it gave me 292,340 results. That's too much. So I'm going to narrow it down on the left. We call all these tools on the left limiters. All you have to do is go to source types. Source types, show more. It gives you all the options here. I want physical books. Update. And then you can narrow it down by location. If Valle Verde is your main campus, choose Valle Verde. If you want a book from these other campuses, you can click on show more, and we have not only the 5 campuses, but other campuses like high school campuses that we work with. Keep in mind that if you're at Valle Verde, we can get a book from any of these other campuses if it's available. We can call them, you just fill out a little green form and they'll send it over here. And it takes like a day or two. It's very quick. I'm going to select Valle Verde because that's my main campus and I want books from this campus library. So I'm going to click update. And now you should have books that are only at the Valle Verde campus. And you can scroll through these. Personhood, marriage. I wasn't too specific, but let's say I just want some opposing viewpoints on marriage. You can go here and just wait for it to load the call number, or go to the classic catalog as I like to do. Search by title, what campuses, select Valle Verde, and then it'll give you the call number. So this lives on the back of the book, or the spine, or the side, and this is the call number. I want to take a moment right here to show you how to find a book once you have the call number. The library collection is arranged using the Library of Congress classification system, as we see here. It's a alphanumeric code or system from A to Z. As you see here, it starts with general encyclopedias, yearbooks. Let's say that your call number starts with HQ. So HQ would be sort of down here on the left, and it covers family and marriage and women's studies. On the back of this is a bunch of numbers, and this lists our bookshelves. We have 61 bookshelves, and they're broken up alphabetically, and it relates to this Library of Congress classification system. So let me show you. Once I have my call number, for example, for this book titled Marriage, Opposing Viewpoints, I'll start with HQ. If it was H, I would start up here. If it was HB, I would go down here. But it's HQ, so I'm going to start down here. And it's somewhere between these two. So I'm going to move on to HQ 734. On the back of this page, we see that HQ is broken up into 2 rows. It's HQ 734, so I know it's going to be in row 25. That number is bookshelf 25, and it'll fall somewhere between HQ 16 and HQ 1235. So all you have to do is go to row bookshelf 25, and it'll be numbered upstairs, and then just look in HQ until you find HQ 734, and then when you find all those books, HQ 734, you just move on to the next letter and number, and that's how you find it. If you're not familiar with that, please ask a librarian for help. We're happy to help you learn how to find a book, and after a while, after you get practice, you can do it by yourself, and it's pretty easy. Don't feel overwhelmed if you don't know how to do it. We'll help you. Just a few more things on how to find a physical print book at the library. So I'm going back in the catalog now, and I have this book that I'm interested in, Marriage, Opposing Viewpoints. It tells you all the campuses that it's found in. It says View Library Catalog Record. I already looked it up in the classic catalog, so I already have my call number, but this is a newer catalog. Click on the title, and then scroll down a bit, and eventually it'll load here. Okay, so it actually didn't load the call number. It just gave me View Catalog Record. However, like I said, please open up the classic catalog. And let me just go over that really fast again. So this is the newer catalog, EBSCO Discovery Service. Under Resources, you have the classic catalog. And like I mentioned before, I like to have both of them open because sometimes you'll get weird things like no call number, as we see here for some reason, but there is a call number. So look it up in the classic catalog. Let me just go over that one more time. I know it's repetitive, but I just want to save you time. And this is the way that I troubleshoot this. Next, I'm going to show you how to find an electronic book through the library catalog. And I'm going to use the EBSCO Discovery Service search box. So I'm going to type in my search terms. I'm going to look up elder abuse. And then I'm just going to click search. And up here we see that it gave me 495,019 results. I'm going to narrow that down. But first, I want to point your attention to this research starter. If it's a really important topic, it'll have an encyclopedic research starter article. You can click on it to get some background. It is an encyclopedic article, but I wouldn't stop here. But if you don't know a lot of the background, take a look at the research starter articles, and you might get ideas to help you with your paper. And maybe I'll take a moment to outline some of these tools. All of our databases have pretty much the same tools. The most important tools for you are the citation tool. If you notice, there's a cite tool here on the right. Sometimes it's up on a ribbon here. So take a look, because all of our databases have a cite tool. You just click on it, and it'll generate citations in different styles. You're using APA, so all you have to do is copy and paste that into your paper. Please check it because it's automatically constructed, and it might have typos or errors, so it's not 100% accurate. You still have to check it. We have some other styles there. You can also add it to a folder, add this article to a folder, but then you have to create an account with EBSCO, and it'll ask you to sign in. You have to create an account in order to save anything to EBSCO. You can print it, email it to yourself. If you want to keep a copy of your research, it's always a good idea to email it to yourself. You can email it as an HTML page. And I think those are the most important tools. Let me go back to the results page here, and I'm looking for an electronic book. Right away we do get electronic books, but let me try to narrow down this number. So if you remember from the last portion of the video, we go to the left. Under source types, we click on show more, and it gives you all these options. We're just going to look for ebooks, so I'm going to check that box, and it should reduce somewhat our results. So I still have over 140,000, but it's a bit less. What you're looking for when it comes to electronic books or articles is anything that says PDF or full text. Some of these don't have anything. For example, let's go with this one, number 5. It doesn't have like a PDF icon or anything. You can click on it, and what I like to do is right away look on the top left. If it says something like retrieve from catalog, click on it. I have a feeling that it's not going to connect to it, but sometimes it does. All you have to do is find something that says connect or access. And the point that I'm trying to make is don't give up. Keep clicking, keep looking. Right here we got into the ebook. Sometimes you don't, because it's not removed from the catalog when our subscription expires. But my whole point is don't give up. Just keep clicking, and hopefully you'll find the ebook or the electronic article. What I like about ebooks is that you can search within instead of having to browse the whole book physically. You can just click on the search within function here and type in uh, your search term, and then just go, you can go to that page wherever the search term is present. So I looked up violence, I can look up statistics, and then gave me a nice statistic that I could use for my paper. And as I mentioned, all of our databases have pretty much the same tools. Well, this is actually the catalog, but it's very similar to databases. So you click on cite, and it'll generate the citation if you want to cite this book. Let me go back to the search page just to show you one that has an actual PDF. So I'll look for this one. You can actually just click on the PDF, but let me click on the title here. Elder abuse, selected papers. It might not be relevant to you, but just let me show you an example. So right here on the top left, we see 2 full text options. I usually just like to do PDF. And this one, I didn't have to click 3 times on anything. I just clicked once and it took me right into it. And let me try to find another one that doesn't have pretty much anything. So all these pretty much have full text. So like I said, let's try this one, number 22, counseling survivors of domestic abuse. If you don't see anything on the top left, it's usually on the bottom where it says online access. So what you're looking for is anything that says access. And my whole point is that there's a couple of ways to get into books. Also, I just want to mention, to save you time, as far as ebooks, you could go to the table of contents to see what the contents are. I also like to go to the index. If it has an index, sometimes it doesn't have an index, and then you could just browse and see, well, what are some of the subtopics related to this issue, right? Next, I'm going to show you how to find electronic articles through the online catalog. So there's a couple of ways to do this. If you want to use the EBSCO Discovery Service, just type in your keywords like domestic violence and click search. And as we see, we get over 3 million results. We get the research starter article to give us some background on our topic. And it breaks it up by types of domestic violence. You can use the limiters here on the left. Click on show more under source types. Whenever your professor says go look up a scholarly article, what they mean as far as it relates to the catalog is academic journals. If they're looking for non-academic articles, you could click on news, magazines, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, magazines and news are not academic. If it's scholarly, you want academic journals. So click update. And you could also use the limiter here to go back. If you don't want to go back to 1876, you could look up more recent years like 2015 through 2022. Just click enter, and now I limited my results, and you can see up here that it limited my results. And it's the same thing as ebooks. You want full text, something that says full text, and we see here that it does have the full text options. You can play around with these keywords. If you want to add more search terms, you can go to advanced search, and we get more text boxes. Domestic violence, and if you want to narrow it down to a specific subtopic, You do domestic violence and alcoholism. Just click search, and you get all these limiters as well. I usually don't limit anything before I look at my results. And I'm going to go back to source types, click on academic journals, and then it's just a matter of browsing. And what I like to do is I'll click on the title, and then usually it has an abstract. It's very quick. It's better than reading 12 or 36 pages. This one is 14 pages. Now let me show you how to actually access the article. So you can do any of these full text. Let me click on the PDF one. And here it is. So if you want to keep it, you can download it using the download button there. You can email it to yourself. And if you need the citation, here's the cite tool on the right. And you just select APA, copy, paste it. I'm going to show you another way to find electronic articles through the library catalog. This time we're not going to use the EBSCO Discovery Service. We're going to go under Resources. We're going to go to Online Databases. Click on Online Databases and it'll take you to this page. If you want to see all the databases that we carry, you go to the Alphabetical List tab. We have over 100 databases listed alphabetically here. We also divide them by subject or topic. What I recommend is go to the controversial tab, scroll down a bit, and what you want, this is a go-to one, is opposing viewpoints. So it's the same book series that I showed you in the first slide. We have them electronically. So you click on opposing viewpoints and it'll take you into that database. Keep in mind that when you're at home, it'll ask you to log in with your EPCC credentials. Okay, so this is what the actual database looks like. If you don't have an idea of what your topic is, you can go to Browse Issues here towards the middle. Click on Browse Issues, and it'll give you a list of topics that they have. What I like about this database is that it's not like a static database. It's always updated. So as we see here, they add content almost daily, pretty much. Now, you can browse through this alphabetical list, or you can look up a topic, for example, poverty, and hopefully they'll have a bunch of stuff on your topic. Right here, they give us some background. You can click on read more, and then it'll tell you all about poverty. It has some main ideas, causes, demographics, and other information. And here on the bottom, you have your citation tool. If I can go back here, notice that it also gave me these options. So you have 2,323 academic articles. Viewpoints are opinions, pro and con opinions. Primary sources, magazines, videos, statistics. Let's click on viewpoints, and these are the pro and con type viewpoints. Unfortunately, they're not divided into pro and con. You kind of have to read them to see what position the author is taking, but pretty much you should know right away. So gives you some of the topics that they're going to cover, questions to consider as you're reading. And then right in the intro, you should know what the author is talking about and what the position they're taking, whether it's like pro and con something. Next, I'm going to show you where to find helpful internet websites. So I'm back at the library catalog main page. I'm going to scroll down a bit. Under resources, we're going to go to helpful internet websites. You click on it and it'll take you into this page, which kind of looks very similar as a databases page. But these are not databases. Here, they're not going to ask you to log in. These are public websites. You don't have to go here, but we kind of just collected them here. What I recommend is that you go to current topics, click on current topics, and then a good one that I like to start with is procon.org. It's an organization that has pro and con type articles. It's very current. So you click on procon.org, and as we see here, right away we get a current topic. You can scroll down a bit and it'll outline some topics according to the subject. So whether you're interested in government, in private prisons, technology, should we go to the moon or space, health and medicine, right? Very, very timely topics. If you want more issues, you just go to more issues, and we get a whole list here. So for example, let me just click on one, the Cuba embargo. And what I like about this database is that it gives you the background, of course, but it also gives you the pro and con, and this one does separate them by pro versus con. I like this database too because it gives you some very juicy quotes for your paper. So let me just find one real fast. The U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency released a report stating that Cuba does not pose a significant military threat to the U.S. or other countries in the region. Right? So if you want to borrow somebody's authority, you do that by quoting an authority. So hopefully this one will give you some juicy quotes. Next, you can go to pollingreport.com, and they poll people on their viewpoints. For example, let's try this one, Ukraine and Russia. And these are the types of questions that they ask. This is who asked it, and then the date. And they ask questions like, what concerns you more, COVID or Russia's invasion of Ukraine? And then here you get people's responses. So if you want to know what the general public thinks about an issue, you might want to go here, pollingreport.com. There's another one that I want to point out, and you can try all of these for statistics and data, but the Pew Research Center is also good for polling data. And let me see, research topics. They have a bunch of topics here. You can click on full topic list, and you can see what they cover. Well, that was my presentation. Hopefully you got something useful out of it. If you have time, please evaluate me. Just point your phone to this QR code and fill out the survey, or go to this link here if you want to type all of that out. I would really appreciate your feedback and your evaluation. Thank you so much for your time. And please reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, or you feel that I left out something. I'm here to help you, okay? Thank you.